How to get the best medical insurance quotes online. Most Canadians have a large portion of their healthcare needs taken care of as a result of the Constitution and the 1867 British North American Act. But many Canadians do not, and still are forced to pay thousands out of pocket annually due to extraneous expenses that go above and beyond federally supported healthcare. It is estimated that approximately two-thirds of Canadians still have private insurance to cover those costs, which means one-third does not. To begin bridging the gap in your medical expenses, find out right here how to get medical insurance quotes online. History of Canadian healthcare. In 1867, the British North American Act in Canada was the law that determined who first paid for what in Canada. At first, the federal government only paid for marine healthcare or any healthcare required while under medical quarantine. The provincial governments were responsible for hospital and asylum care, and overall healthcare had yet to be funded. It wasn't until the Federal Dominion Council of Health was created in 1940 that the government began to take healthcare more seriously. Publicly funded healthcare became official in every province in 1948, but again, it only covered so much. That fact remains today. And this is exactly why so many Canadians need supplemental health insurance today. Learn Health Insurance 101 in Canada, and discover this guide to health insurance basics for individuals in Canada today. Why Canadians need medical insurance quotes online. The biggest reason Canadians pursue medical insurance quotes online is because getting it through an agent is expensive and time-consuming. While the product you receive may cost the same dollars and cents in quotes, you are still paying for the agent's commission. This is still going to bring a biased level of service to your transaction. But if you get the service online, you do your own research, compare your own quotes, and do it on your own time. You also save an incredible amount of time, with online research over making multiple phone calls to different companies. Today, the country does pay for medical insurance for Canadians, but it only goes so far. The federal government allots a certain amount in every budget. The province pays for the healthcare, and gets money from the federal government to do so. Healthcare practitioners bill their province for their fees. Canadian-funded healthcare covers only so much. It generally covers doctor's visits, hospital visits and stays, tests for diagnosis, referrals, and things of this nature. What Canadian federal healthcare doesn't cover. The federal government does not cover vision care, dental care, and some medical supplies such as a wheelchair. But there are provinces that have exceptions to this. Therapy such as acupuncture, chiropractors, massage therapy, some psychologists, and some physiotherapy is also not covered by the country. This is why many Canadians need supplemental insurance. Some populations, such as children and some seniors, will get coverage for these extras in their province. But this isn't universal across the country. The alternative to being out of pocket for these expenses is to purchase medical insurance. It's no longer an expensive or time-consuming process to get health insurance. Canadians can get easy and free medical insurance quotes online to help them circumvent their healthcare costs. The best plan is the plan that will have you spending less out of pocket on healthcare than you would for your insurance policy. Before you settle on the first fast-talking insurance agent you run into, learn how to choose the best plan for your family. You can get a variety of quotes from a variety of providers on your own time online in half an hour, without paying a single agent's fee. How to prepare for medical insurance quotes online. Getting the best healthcare coverage in Canada today is all about knowing what you will be out of pocket for if you have extra healthcare expenses. You just need to find a provider that can help you bridge the gap between the government's healthcare and your supplemental needs at a rate your family can afford. When you are looking for medical insurance, a great place to start is online. Browse insurance companies and the different kinds of plans, and determine what you need for your family. Most insurance companies offer plans in tiers, with the least amount of coverage on the bottom tier and the largest amount of coverage at the top. After the tiers, many companies have a feature called add-ons. This coverage is used in the event that something you want isn't covered on the tier that you choose. Before you begin looking for quotes online, get a list of all of your medications, your health card number, and any payment information you may use to pay for your policy. This is usually a credit card number, a debit card number, or your checkbook. You may not buy anything the first time, but you may see a rate so good you want to lock it in with payment information right away. No insurance company will ever charge you for a quote. So if you are being asked for money, chances are you are already well into the commitment process. Check your browser history to be sure this is what you want to be doing. Now, begin deciding what you need and what you can afford in healthcare. The difference in tiers in healthcare quotes. When you begin getting healthcare quotes, you will see there are a number of options. If it's your first time, this could be very overwhelming and it will all look the same after a while. The first thing to know is that most healthcare plans are divided into tiers, based on affordability and coverage. The less you are paying, the less you will be covered. So a basic plan may mean you only have 50% of your dental covered. An elite plan or high-level plan may mean you have 70% of your dental covered, or even 100% up to a certain dollar amount. But at the same time, most plans will offer more coverage in years 2 and 3 of a policy. That means that while you may not get much coverage in year 1, by year 3 you may get the same amount of coverage that you would get when paying for an elite plan in year 1. So these numbers are something you want to look at when getting your insurance quotes. The insurance companies have a tendency to offer very similar level coverages in the tiers, so you want to be looking at the details of the tiers when making your final decision. The upfront insurance cost shouldn't be the first number you are worried about. Because if you have a low fee up front, you may have a high deductible later, and cost more out of pocket than you want. So these little fine print details will be the details and numbers that distinguish one insurance company from the next. Take notes on these things as you go along. Add-ons in health insurance in Canada. Add-ons are elements that you add on to an insurance policy because your healthcare level tier doesn't cover it. It's the equivalent of a rider you would add to another policy, say a home policy. Let's say you wanted something in your home covered such as a diamond ring or expensive equipment, you would add a rider, or an add-on to your policy. The same types of riders exist for health insurance. If your basic tier doesn't cover hospital expenses, and you think that might be a need down the road, you can often buy an add-on to your insurance policy. Other things you might add on are travel insurance, hospital cash, enhanced vision, enhanced dental, or extra coverage for practitioners such as physiotherapists or acupuncturists. Each insurance company will have its own set of add-ons, and it's something you want to think about before you begin collecting quotes. What kind of extras in insurance do you want or need? Do you need a medical exam? You can purchase a lot of healthcare coverage without a medical exam in Canada. Whether you want to have one done or not is entirely your own preference, but most people prefer to avoid this step if they can. Most insurance policies will offer 1 tier where it is very clearly stated that you don't need a medical exam. Purchasing this tier will ensure you are guaranteed acceptance without a medical exam. You may even be able to get your insurance policy handled on the same day if you go this way. You can still get a lot of coverage on this basic plan by stocking up on your add-ons. If you are considering a plan that seems perfect for you and your family, but don't want a medical exam, don't let that deter you. Medical exams are not as extensive as they seem. They generally require a medical questionnaire at the very least, and sometimes a bit more. Sometimes answering a few questions online is enough. But in other cases, a nurse may come to your home for about 20 minutes for the exam. The exam consists of a few basic health questions, a urine and blood sample, and checking your vitals such as heart rate, blood pressure, height, and weight. And then you are done. Then you are just a few days away from being the owner of a brand new insurance policy. Invest in yourself. Canadians are blessed to live in a nation where a large portion of their healthcare costs is covered federally. But there is a large portion of healthcare costs that aren't covered, with some estimates of private healthcare costs hovering around $1,800 per Canadian. Many Canadian families can't afford that and don't want to keep living like this. A 2007 poll out of Kingston, Ontario, revealed that a large majority of Canadians find the current system unsustainable and in need of a significant overhaul. Until that happens, you are still going to need to bridge the gap between federal funding and your own supplemental healthcare costs. Supplemental healthcare insurance is the best way to do it, and it's more affordable than you might think. At the same time, it's easier to get it today than ever before when you get your medical insurance quotes online. Learn how to pick your provider today, to buy your family's peace of mind for tomorrow. Need help finding the right life insurance policy? At Insurdinary, we want to make the life insurance selection process as easy as possible. Compare plans and rates, get a quote, and apply for insurance in minutes. Get covered today.